Hi, welcome to the Weekly Presser with Dr. Alvin Parker, head football coach of the Virginia Union University Panthers. Coach, Bluefield State, another win. It's almost getting old hat for you. Tell us about the game.
Good game. I thought the guys played well, both sides of the ball and special teams. Something a little different for us playing a late game, 6 o'clock game in November. So that was something that was good. Kind of thought it was going to be a little tough to kind of keep them all together all day and riled up, but they went out there and they played well. So, I was happy to kind of see that and, got that one under our belt, made the trip on back and begin to get ready for the next one.
Speaking of the next one, it's the old rivalry, Virginia State University. Tell us a little bit about their approach for the Trojans.
Next game up approach. I think it's just that. I think we've been doing that all season. So as a coach, you want to make sure you don't change up anything, when it comes time for the next game, no matter who you're going to play. Everybody knows, the rivalry, it's been like that since I've been playing here. So, it's nothing that's been different. Virginia State, Virginia Union, kind of is what it is. So I think it's going to be, one of those type of games, always knock down, drag out, but the goal is just to kind of keep doing what we've been doing. Nothing different, changing up nothing, and just kind of going to it, approaching the same as we've done all the rest of the games.
How big is having a national television game? It's going to be on the Grio this week. So how big is having a national TV game for the program?
Anytime you can get that type of stage that you can feature your student athletes on, it's something that's pretty daggone big, So, getting all guys the chance to do something like this is probably the third time we've been on national TV this year, So, that's always something good for you guys, something good for your program. So you want to make sure you kind of keep that going, and we've done this before when they came here in town, Virginia State visited us. So last time it was a TV game. So, we sold Hubby out, record crowd, so hopefully the same thing happens on Saturday.
Now, also new this week is that you're ranked number 2 in the regional rankings. What does that mean to you as a coach and also as a program?
I mean, it's something that's big. I think, most of the time, throughout the season, people look at the national rankings and kind of see, what that is on a weekly basis. But, without knowing the structure, know how important that the regional rankings are, So we've been fortunate to kind of know how these things work. We've been to the playoffs the last 3 years, know how important those regional rankings are. So, and those are, it's not about a lot of respect and all those type of things. Of course, some of that does kick in, but it's a lot of metrics that go into those. So being able to check all of those boxes and, have your program in position to be, named the number 2 team in the region, would have been the second week they've come out, it's something that you feel good about the program wise, not just, the way these guys are playing, but everybody that's been involved in the program from top to bottom, you feel good about that.
Now, this week's honorees, Curtis Allen, again, the National HBCU Player of the Week. School record, 369 yards. Beat Jada Byers' record, which we thought was going to stand for some time, but he was just incredible. Tell me about his approach to the game.
I'm fortunate that I got to watch both of those games. I've been fortunate as a coach to have talented players that kind of get it done, for me like those guys have done. So like I said, I sat firsthand and watched Jada do that, down Valdosta. So again, that performance, I was like, it's not going to get any better than that. Mm-hmm. And then you look up a few years later, Curtis does something that's just better than that, and I want to make sure I go on the record and say this, that, Curtis Allen is going to be the first HBCU player that wins the Harlan Hill. I stand behind it. I say it wholeheartedly, and I mean it. His performance this year has been something that's been, great to watch. He's done it week in and week out. So he deserves it. I'm strange that he doesn't deserve it. He's earned it. So when that kind of get into the position, that's going to be something big, not just for Virginia Union, but for HBCUs as a whole.
It's one thing to run for an 85-yard touchdown in the first half, but in the second half, when you're a little bit tired and your body may be aching and stuff, all of a sudden Curtis rips off another 84-yard touchdown. What's his approach to the game, condition-wise?
Just the same as everybody else's. He does the same thing that we do with all the other guys on the team. He's a hard worker though. And moreover, that offensive line. People don't mention him enough, but I think it's hard to miss him. I think 4 out of the last 5 weeks we've had an offensive lineman be named offensive lineman of the week. So that's credit. And I'm pretty sure Curtis, he loves running behind those guys, and he gives those guys a lot of credit as well.
That's my next question. 721 total offensive yards. Trayvon, I hope I pronounced his name right, Callis.
Correct.
Trayvon Callis was the CIAA Offensive Lineman of the Week. So tell me a little bit more about the offensive line.
Yeah, like I said, 4 out of the last 5 weeks we've had an offensive lineman be named, Offensive Lineman of the Week. I'm putting up record numbers like we did on Saturday, with 700 plus offensive yards. About 500 of those coming, on the ground, not giving up any sacks and things like that. A lot of credit has to go to those guys, and I'm glad they're being recognized on a weekly basis. So they get recognized in the house a whole lot, but being able to put it, from the CIAA and from the rest of the conference, kind of getting voted on by your peers, to be in that position is something that I'm pretty sure those guys really, really like.
Last player we're going to talk about, Mr. Automatic, when it comes to extra points. Brady Myers, 55 for 55 this season. He's the only kicker with more than 50 extra points this season. Tell me a little bit about him.
Yeah, ready. He's always ready. No matter what we call his name, no matter where we are on the field, he's always ready. So people see the magic that he does when he get out there. In terms of the numbers and everything else that he's doing. He's a senior for us, so I'm gonna miss him. Last 4 years we've been able to call his name and go out there and know what the results are going to be. So he gets it done for us. So it's not a lot to say about Brady.
Yeah, he set a school record 10 for extra points in a single game. Went 10 for 10. He was the CIAA Special Teams Player of the Week. So of course we're gonna miss him next year. He's a senior. Who you got coming up to take the places of, say, Curtis Allen and Brady Myers?
Oh, we got a wealth of guys. I think the job that we've done in terms of recruiting and retention and all of that, you look on the roster, you'll see guys that are ready. Because, anytime we've called their numbers, those guys have been ready. There's been a lot of other guys that have carried that ball back there in the backfield. And just like Curtis waited his turn, it's a lot of other guys waiting their turn. So, we're going to be good with that. Brady came in place. We had Jefferson Souza before we had Brady. He was Special Teams Player of the Year. Then you get Brady, he was named Special Teams Player of the Year. So we've done a great job in recruiting, guys that have been effective kickers for us and been able to put it through the upright. So nothing's going to change. We're going to keep recruiting and doing things the way we do it to make sure we get guys in here and have guys in here in the program that can kind of get it done for us.
Fantastic. Well, Coach, good luck against Virginia State.